This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.
Hello everyone, I'm Danny Vittori, and this is the LCTV News. With Hanukkah beginning next week and Christmas just 2 weeks away, you are in for a host of holiday announcements and celebrations. Settle in for a news segment that covers everything from future city plans to grant funding to annual festive events. The Lowdown expands this list even further, covering ways to address food insecurity and give back during the holiday season. Here's the news for Friday, December 12th, 2025. Last Friday, December 5th, the Real program held their second annual Breakfast of Champions. 5 members of the community were honored for their commitment to literacy. Attendees could also enter raffles and a silent auction and enjoy some food.
Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? Good morning. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bella Cohen. My mom has asked me to share with you her remarks and her gratitude for this incredible honor. I grew up with my mother, who reads 3 novels a week, sometimes more. Our house is filled with stacks of books that had nothing to do with assigned reading and everything to do with curiosity. My mom reads anything and everything that crosses her path. She has been exposed to so many different religions, philosophies, and interests that we lovingly refer to her as the mom who knows everything. That love of reading became the inheritance that I passed on to my daughter. Somewhere between my mother's novels and my daughter's squiggly lines, I realized literacy isn't just about reading words, it's about discovering worlds.
REAL stands for Reading and Educational Assistance for Learning. And the program's mission is to improve literacy in Lynn, Massachusetts. In Lynn, we have children facing housing instability. The REAL program offers them a predictable place to gather. We have students experiencing food insecurity. The REAL program offers students nourishment for their body and their minds.
We do not just teach kids to read. We're giving them confidence and securing their future. We help parents win. We support the whole family by running English classes for parents and caregivers so they can better help their children navigate school.
ESL classes and a REAL stream, summer programs. The money also will go to help us sustain our little free libraries across the city of Lynn. And it supports our REAL kids and community neighbors, helping them thrive through educational assistance and resources.
I've seen how literacy can pull a child from the margins and place them at the center of their own potential. Literacy is empowerment, it is liberation, it is equity in action. This is why the REAL program's mission matters so deeply to me. Because reading is not just a school skill, it is a life skill. And every child in Lynn deserves to have that foundation.
Literacy, as you all know, is such a critical building block for all of our young people's future, and it really takes a team effort for us to be able to make sure that our kids get the skills that they need, and Real has become a critical member of that team here in the city of Lynn. I know they appreciate your support. I appreciate your support and coming out for Real, and we're proud to partner with Jan and her whole team. Congratulations to the Real program, and congratulations to all the honorees today. Thank you so much.
On Monday, December 8th, the Stephen Phillips Memorial Scholarship Fund announced that applications for the Gordon Hall III Family Scholarships are now open. The Hall Scholarship announced a major expansion earlier this year, supporting funding for renewable scholarships, which will be awarded to selected applicants in Lynn and Marblehead. To qualify, students must be a resident of either Lynn or Marblehead, be enrolled full-time at an accredited U.S. undergraduate university, be pursuing a bachelor's degree at a four-year college in the 2026-27 school year, have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and demonstrate a financial need. In order to apply, students must submit one formal essay and several shorter responses, a financial aid award information from the college they will be attending, their name and contact information for at least one recommender, and their 2026-27 FAFSA submission summary. Applications are due by 12 p.m. May 1st, 2026. At their most recent community meeting about the South Harbor Implementation Plan, the Lynn Planning Department heard a recurring message from residents. Lynn should be using any and all resources to address vacant and rundown sites on the waterfront. One such tool used by other towns and cities in Massachusetts is urban renewal. Therefore, during the November 25th meeting, the City Council voted to establish a Lynn Redevelopment Authority. This means they will be hiring a planning consultant to lead in the development of an urban renewal plan. This process will take the South Harbor Implementation Plan to the next step and ensure that the Lynn community has the authority to shepherd transformative development on the waterfront. This process will include several community meetings and opportunities for public input to ensure that everyone has the chance to help shape this plan. Saturday was packed from beginning to end, beginning with the North Shore Juneteenth's third annual Inclusive Santa event. Santas representing half a dozen different ethnicities and cultures teamed up with several elves and the Grinch to take pictures with children and their families. This event was all about celebrating diversity in a fun, welcoming environment.
Hello, my name is Nicole McLean. I am the founder and president of North Shore Juneteenth Association, and we are here today at our annual, semi-annual, third annual Inclusive Santa event. We had some great partnerships that helped us bring this event together. We had the Lynn Disability Network here today. Freedom Fighters came by, Brew North Shore that donated some items, Balloons by Cecilia as well. So we want to thank all of the partners that came together to make this happen. We want to thank all of our donors as well. We had a couple of people in the community that were various types of sponsors that helped us make this happen. So thank you so much. And we are the organizers, myself, Nicole McLean.
I'm Kelsey Vargas, super excited to be here and so proud to help with this event.
I'm Teresa Guillaume, also just honored and so thrilled that so many families were able to come out today and be here and just share in this joy. And we also want to thank Wegmans for their generous gift cards. So all the families were able to have some fruit, some veggies, and just a little bit of a snack to enjoy themselves.
And we want to thank the Lynn Community Television as well for coming today and giving us some news coverage. So thank you for covering this event. This event is all about inclusion. So we have the Disability Network here. We have Santas of various cultural backgrounds here so that people in our community can see themselves in the joy of the Christmas holiday. So that's what one of our mission as the North Shore Juneteenth Association is, to spread awareness about, marginalized communities and representation. So that's what this event really does, show that and showcase that. So we're happy to have put it on this year for the third time.
From there, LCTV attended the opening reception for the new DeMacus YMCA Music and Performance Studio. This impressive space houses everything a young aspiring artist would need to pursue their dreams, including a soundproof recording studio, practice rooms, a lending library, and a digital production space.
So it's been an 8-year journey that we have embarked on. It was a start and stop with COVID, but it took committed volunteers, committed donors. We went all over Massachusetts looking at different musical setups. We interviewed tons of kids, and this is where we landed. And our goal now is to fill every space 12 hours a day with kids.
So, okay, my parents immigrated here from the Dominican Republic, and I basically went to the music and youth program that the YMCA had, and from there they had the music and youth music studio, and I went and just started listening to music, started singing karaoke, and basically fell in love with music from there. And then I heard of an opportunity through my brother that Telemundo was doing The Voice, and so I decided to go and audition, because you never know. And I ended up winning that show in 2014, and that definitely was like the thing that kind of changed the trajectory of my life, because from there I went on to then do like America's Got Talent, and then I did some stuff on Broadway, and I was signed for Universal for a couple years, and the YMCA studio was just a safe space for me to express myself, to build a community, to make just memorable memories. Yeah, it's very important, I think, for children and for young people to have a community behind them and have a safe space to just be. And now, it's a full circle moment, because where I started, now this music studio here at the DeMacus YMCA is, named after me, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, so we have multiple classrooms, starting with a podcast and video recording room. Right now we're sitting in the production room for the soundproof recording studio right behind me. We have a performance space for up to 100 people with a stage and a piano. We have 2 practice spaces. We have an instrument lending library. What does that mean? We want kids to try different things. So in order to do that, we need to provide the tools. So they can come in, they can sign out a keyboard, they can sign out a guitar, and then we also have a digital production studio, which has 10 workspaces that goes through all the digital making behind music.
I think this space is incredible. We have podcasting. We're going to have free programming all December for people to try it out. Things like beat making, programming from all ages, even like instrumental petting zoo for the young ones, and more. And so we're very, very excited to start unveiling all these great opportunities for the youth, adults, and everywhere in between. People can sign up online. So we're stoked to be able to have lots of opportunities for people to sign up, get in, try some things, and maybe find their new love.
Anthony Coleman, 36 of Lynn, pled guilty to 2 counts of benefiting financially from trafficking and 1 count of knowingly persuading and coercing a person to travel to engage in prostitution. Coleman was indicted by a federal grand jury in April of 2024 and remains in federal custody. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Coleman moved the victims into his home, then proceeded to post sex advertisements for them, gave them scripts to negotiate payment and terms, and transported them to hotels and other places to engage in commercial sex. Specifically in March of 2020, he recruited his first victim, who had lost her job during COVID, physically abusing her and transporting her to Florida on multiple occasions for commercial sex. His second victim was taken on May of 2020, where he forced her to travel to California for commercial sex by threatening her family. The charge of benefiting financially from trafficking provides for a sentence up to life in prison, up to 5 years of supervised release, and a fine of $250,000. The charge of knowingly persuading and coercing a person to travel to engage in prostitution provides for a sentence of up to 20 years in prison, up to 3 years of supervised release, and a fine of $250,000. U.S. District Court Judge Richard Stearns scheduled sentencing for March 11th of 2026. State Treasurer Deborah Goldberg, chair of the Massachusetts Clean Water Trust Board of Trustees, announced on December 4th that $98.8 million in grants were awarded to 59 projects covering 51 communities. The funding for these grants comes from the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which provides additional funding to the trust for this specific purpose. The Clean Water Trust works in collaboration with Mass DEP to help communities build or replace drinking water infrastructure that enhances ground and surface water resources. One such recipient of an IUP loan forgiveness for clean water projects is the Lynn Water and Sewer Commission. The commission is receiving a $20 million loan and another $3.6 million in loan forgiveness to fund phases 3, 4, and 5 of the West Lynn sewer separation. These phases will separate sewers over 260 acres on the western side of the city. The project is also constructing a new stormwater pump station with a capacity of 100 million gallons per day and a 54-inch force main discharge to Lynn Harbor, reducing combined sewer overflow and improving water quality for all of Lynn. The GLCC's Festival of Lights has become a tradition in the city to kick off the holiday season. LCTV volunteer Dario was on scene, capturing performances by several youth organizations, as well as the lighting itself.
We're excited to have you here from the Greater Lynn Chamber, and this year we partnered with Lynn Main Street, our friend Sam McHugh, and Lynn Main Street's team for helping us out. Thank you all for being here. I want to give a big thank you to the Greater Lynn Chamber of Commerce. Thank you to Lynn Main Street.
We are so grateful for everyone to put this wonderful event together. It's a little cold, but there's lots of holiday spirit here keeping us warm. I want to wish all of Lynn a very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.
From the North Pole to the city of Lynn, I wish you all a happy and Merry Christmas.
Life Care Center of Lynn has been named a top nursing home of 2026 by U.S. News & World Report. The U.S. News & World Report evaluates more than 15,000 U.S. nursing homes, but less than 19% are recognized. They use data from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, along with nurse staffing consistency, patient-centered outcomes, and post-acute care quality to make their selections. Life Care Center opened in Lynn in the 1990s, and according to their executive director, they credit this recognition to the center's history of consistency in leadership, ownership, and building frontline staff. They do not use temporary staffing agencies. Rather, several of the nurses and nursing assistants have been on the center's staff for more than 30 years. This consistency is vital to providing a home and building relationships with their residents. Fighting food insecurity is front and center for the Lynn Policy Food Council. Two of their members joined us for the Lowdown to discuss the impact that food insecurity has on all aspects of life and the resources available to the community. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we have on representatives from both the Food Policy Council and Project Bread. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much, Danny, for having us here.
Thank you, Danny. Pleasure.
Of course. So would you mind just very briefly introducing yourselves to our audience, please?
Yes, my name is Adriana Mendes-Sheldon. I'm the Director of Community Partnerships at Project Bread, and I'm originally from Brazil, been here since 2000.
Great.
Thanks, and hi everyone. Norris Guscott, City of Lynn's Health Access Officer, and I chair its Food Policy Council. Great to be here.
So we're here to talk a lot about the food insecurity, generally in Massachusetts, but also here in Lynn. But before we do that, would you mind, Adriana, we'll start with you, just give a brief overview of Project Bread, what your main mission is, and then Norris will ask the same thing with you with food policy.
Sure. So Project Bread is the leading anti-hunger organization in Massachusetts with a radical approach to end food insecurity. And we call it radical because we really believe in systems change to address food insecurity in Massachusetts and to be the first state nationwide that's hunger-free. So the way we do that through three strategies: policy, prevention, and partnerships. And if we think about it, it used to be that we talked during the pandemic, the food insecurity was so high, but if we look at the data now, in 2025 reporting from the Greater Boston Food Bank, 1 in 3 families in the state of Massachusetts are facing food insecurity, and this is absolutely perplexing because it's even higher than what it was at the peak of the pandemic. So what we do at Project Bread is really to work to address the food insecurity in a systematic way, because we know that food insecurity affects disproportionately more vulnerable populations and communities. And if we look at the data, 1 in 2 Black or Latino are facing food insecurity. So Project Bread, we work with people with lived experience of poverty and food insecurity to really inform our mission and initiatives and strategies so we can address food insecurity in a way that's transformative and effective.
Fantastic.
Thanks. And the Lynn Food Policy Council has its roots. It was founded at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, and we started as a task force. It comprises 14 organizations, and our central role at the time, and still is now, is to centralize the food security works happening in Lynn and safeguard its food system as a whole. And how we do that is collaboration. That's our secret sauce. Our council is cross-sectoral, comprised of various nonprofits who have a mission to see Lynn food secure. And to that end, we come up with collaborations. An example of that is Phoenix Food Hub, which addresses the social and clinical determinants of health related to food. It actually won the Kenneth E. Picard Municipal Award. We're very proud of that as an example that similar municipalities can emulate to address these issues. And in a city like Lynn, Adriana gave the stats for the state. 20% of Lynn families are food insecure. 1 in 3 seniors are food insecure. 60% of our students receive free or reduced lunch, which is itself an indicator of larger food insecurity. So we have our work cut out for us. We know what we have to do, and we're going to do it. And Project Bread has been a crucial partner since we were a task force. So very big thanks to that.
And so much of it's about the collaborative piece, all working together, because collaborating will be key to trying to solve an injustice like food insecurity, because even Adriana, what you were saying before we started, one organization could not possibly do everything. You have to collaborate with each other and use all the resources to get there.
And especially because if you look at nonprofits, one of the biggest challenges is how to increase capacity with limited funding.
Right.
And the way to increase capacity without having to have more funding is through collaboration. I think a lot of people and a lot of organizations, sometimes they try to be where they're not designed to be. And we truly believe at Project Bread that we just need to recognize who is great at what they're doing and work together. And that's why we have such a strong partnerships, because the community really knows what they need, what the assets are, not us. So we need to collaborate.
And another, of course, big thing that was happening was SNAP benefits were cut. The government has reopened again, but what you were saying, Norris, that it could happen again in another month, 2 months. There's so much insecurity there, and people who are relying on these benefits, what have you been doing to try to help some of these people that had their lifeline cut off?
Thanks for that, Danny. We actually, as a council, met and that would be a great time to let folks know that the Food Policy Council has everyone's backs. We've had everyone's backs since the pandemic, and as long as we exist, we intend to do so. Very recently, we met as a council to discuss how we were going to use some funds to address the issue that you just discussed with SNAP. A big thanks to Mayor Nicholson's administration for providing that funding. Without going into too many details, we aim to increase the amount of food transportation options for folks, because in Lynn, that has came up in our community food assessment, it's came up in our community health assessment, our inclusionary assessment, that transportation is an issue. And so for the long term, we decided to invest some funding into doubling the amount of services available.
Wow.
On the other side, or not the other side, but next to it, we will also be working with the Food Project to have a voucher program where folks who are attending their markets, by the way, 90% of the folks who visit the market are SNAP recipients, and Lynn has the second or third largest SNAP HIP market.
Wow.
And so we anticipate that voucher program to be really impactful and go to the folks who really need it the most. And also, a lot is going into coordination. And by that, I mean in hectic times, folks need to know where food resources are. How do they sign up for SNAP? Can they even sign up for SNAP? Where are the food pantries? And at Phoenix Food Hub, that is our coordination center. Any resident can call there, and they have a living document of resources. There are navigators there to help them enroll in SNAP. And so we're approaching it in three major ways. That's transportation, that is food itself, whether that's empowering the farmers markets or our food pantries. And that's also making sure that relevant information is being shared with Lynn residents.
And then, so to flip back over, ask a similar question to Project Bread. You listed, as Norris mentioned, there's so many resources within Lynn, and then you also even mentioned there's many resources that expand to the state as well, Massachusetts, that Lynn residents can also access.
Yes, so specifically, there was so much confusion during the last few weeks with the government shutdown, and people didn't know if they're going to receive their benefits, if SNAP is cut out together. And we have, Project Bread has a food source hotline that's the largest comprehensive referral system that you can call, and counselors that are trained can talk in over 180 different languages to really connect people across the state with local resources in their community, and also screen them for SNAP eligibility. And we saw a huge increase. We were receiving 5 times the volume of calls during the last few weeks. We all had to step in. I did hotline shifts, and I think everybody should do, to really listen to what's happening, in the community, and really understand the extent of the fear and the chaos that we've been seeing.
It's because it's been chaos. Nobody has known what to do at all. And I know you're just talking about, the heat in the moment, this is what you're doing. But talking about a little bit, what were some short-term goals that you're like, we really want to get these out now? And then even looking more long-term, what were you thinking as well for both organizations?
So short-term, folks have got to eat, right? And so that's empowering the food pantries. That's empowering the organizations that are already delivering produce. That's maybe being a bit more targeted with resources. And by that, I mean there are folks who have a disability who are taking care of parents with a disability. And so making sure that we're focusing on the most vulnerable immediately. And to that, at large, it's making sure that, and I said this a little while ago, making sure the food pantries are stocked. Phoenix Food Hub received a huge donation, I'd say a couple weeks ago, from the Mercatus family. And so that's another example of coordination and immediate feed folks long term. And I'd say this is the area that the Food Policy Council really focused on, given the federal climate. We're not sure if it's going to happen again. And so long term, we are focusing on transportation, because there are lots of Lynn's issue with food, or one of the major ones, are folks getting there. They say we've got a massive senior population. You know, it's a hard ask to have them walk to places.
Especially in the winter.
Oh, yeah,
right.
of course,
Quite
especially in
right.
these winters.
It's expensive to Uber and take taxis to places, right? What about folks who have mobility issues?
Exactly.
You know, so fortifying transportation, and we feel like if that is empowered, it's a matter of getting the resources to the folks. So I definitely point to that as a long term. And, you know, the other piece to that is the funding of I use empowerment because empowerment can mean a bunch of different things, but making sure that there are as little snags in the supply line to, you know, Phoenix Food Hub and My Brother's Table, even Salem Pantry and local food pantries, and mitigating that, because snags in those supply lines means that our pantries and our organizations here aren't receiving the resources to give out to our residents. So short and long term.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I think it's so complicated because you have the immediate need, but also the long-term goal of getting us all out of work, right? That we don't need to exist anymore because there will be no more food insecurity in Massachusetts. And I think short-term, we are directing people to really call a food resource hotline and staying very close to the community, so we know which are the new recent changes in expanded hours in food pantries or new programs they are developing to attend the crisis that we've been, you know, of uncertainty that we've been through this year already.
Right.
So we can be informed to inform them. And we also work very diligently with grassroots and grass-top advocacy, and we were last month at the State House doing advocacy during the shutdown. Let's get this funded, let's get this, you know, payments out. In long term, we really need to continue to push for the protection of federal nutrition programs through advocacy and changing the narrative, because we have to think that there's a long personal harm for people who are facing food insecurity. It's not just now. There's mental health issues, physical health issues. Hungry kids cannot learn. It doesn't matter how many millions of dollars we spend in curriculum, Chromebooks, hotspots. If they're not having nutrition, they can't learn. Parents cannot be good parents, caregivers cannot take good care of themselves. So, and SNAP is a huge economic engine. When we think about SNAP injects like $2.6 billion of federal funding into the state of Massachusetts. Every $1 out of $5 is spent in retailers, over 5,500 retailers in Massachusetts. One, it's SNAP. Every $1 injected of SNAP in the economy generates $1.7 of economic movement. So we know it's a program that works. So what we are working at the long term is to really protect those programs for them to continue to be funded and continue to exist.
Well, I had so many more questions than you both nailed them. You both covered them so much. You did so well with that. But I mean, I know I do have to wrap up in a moment, but I said Project Bread, the Food Policy Council, you have such incredible resources. And I know we've been putting up ways for anyone who needs it to contact you or anyone who wishes to do any form of donation. But I will wrap up in a moment. But was there anything else that you wanted to send our audience off with?
Definitely. As I said during the pandemic, and I'll say now, the Food Policy Council has every Lynn resident's back. We know the population that we serve, we know what we can do, and we are passionate about making sure that everyone's all right. We've got some work to do on making sure that everyone knows who we are and what we're doing, but we're here, we exist, and we have everyone's back.
Oh yeah, you're right out there, always very, very visible. It's fantastic to have.
Yeah, I think one good segue that I would like to also add is like, let's change the narrative and break down some myths. You know, food insecurity is not a personal failure, it's not a choice. It's due to economic disparities, years of economic disparities and lack of different opportunities. And there's so many things we hear. For example, all the illegal immigrants are living off a SNAP. Illegal immigrants are not even eligible for SNAP. And nobody can live off a SNAP, which is just $6 a day. So it's just I think it's important for us as a community, when we hear this type of stories, to really say, that isn't true.
Right.
And to demystify all this misinformation, myths that are around, so people can have dignity and have access to nutrition so they can live better lives. So for us, it's like, if you know anyone that's facing food insecurity, to really call our hotline, and we can help them direct to resources. And the number is 1-800-645-8333. And also, we can go to our website, projectbread.org/gethelp, and folks can find different ways to get help. And also, if you feel like you can donate or participate, you can also go to projectbread.org/resources. And I would also call people to join the Make Hunger History, which we talked earlier too, that we believe that this was going to take cross-sector collaboration, and the Make Hunger History is a big collaboration across the state with different sectors working on addressing the immediate and long-term needs of food insecurity in the state.
Well, I'd say both of your organizations are doing that incredibly prominently, changing the message, making sure people know you're there, and you said you're doing incredible work helping them. And I just want to thank you both again so much for coming on to share that message, to make sure people know you're around, that help is there.
Thank you for having us.
Sure, Sandy. Thanks for inviting us.
Of course, anytime. And as mentioned, you can find out more about either of these organizations by going to any of the resources mentioned. But for now, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Winter sports are right around the corner, with several teams beginning their seasons this weekend. English boys and girls basketball faced off with Somerville last night, with the boys hosting and the girls on the road. While the boy and girls St. Mary's teams will suit up against Pope Francis tomorrow the 13th. Classical boys will begin their year hosting Revere on December 17th, while the girl Rams will host Winthrop on the 13th. As for Lynn Tech, both teams are on the road next Tuesday the 16th. The boys will travel to Shawsheen Valley Tech, with the girls headed to Ipswich. The Celtics may be taking inspiration from Foxborough, building a 5-game win streak of their own. Most recently, they took down the LA Lakers 126-105 on the 5th, and the Toronto Raptors 121-113 on the 7th. The Bruins are on their own 3-game win streak, besting the St. Louis Blues 5-2 behind a 2-goal performance by Pavel Zacha. The Salvation Army was our other guest on the Lowdown, coming in to discuss their Red Kettle campaign and other holiday resources available for the community. In the season of giving, the Salvation Army provides many ways for everyone to get involved. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we welcome back on Emmanuel from the Salvation Army. Thank you so much for coming back on.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for having me here. It's my pleasure.
Of course. It's always great to have you back. And said during the winter months, so that's when your demand, I know, goes up and up and up at the Salvation Army. But first of all, I know, do you want to just talk a little bit about what's been going on there? You mentioned that, like many places, the number of people you're serving has increased.
Certainly, with all of this unfortunate situations happening on the federal government side, it has been difficult for some people to meet particular needs or basic needs such as food, energy, or rental. And so in the last couple months, we have seen an increase of from 200 to 400% of requests of individuals, ranging from individuals who just need food delivery to individuals who are almost evicted, just needing help, just to get them through. And so we are grateful that we can, alongside many other agencies in the city of Lynn, come alongside and help out those in need.
And then additionally, it's around the holiday time, so you do some things with presents, delivery, and then you're also doing your Red Kettle, which a lot of people recognize from around the stores and everything, but now you also have it virtual.
Yes, so this season, this is the part of the season that I'm the most busy, or we are the most busy, but at the same time, it's the most rewarding to be able to bless individuals in our community. So in the upcoming week, we are going to be distributing toys. Our sign-up usually are in October, so sorry, friends, our sign-up has been completed. However, if you do call, we can put you on a waiting list, and if there are any presents available, we will get them to you, and we'll give you a call. But this year, we saw an increase in our requests for families, particularly families whose head of household has been detained by ICE or involved in the whole situation, immigration-wise. And so last year we serviced 1,200 kids. This year we're servicing 1,600 kids.
Wow.
Of the community of here in Lynn.
That big number.
Yes. And then, of course, our iconic fundraising season has kicked in. And the Salvation Army here in Lynn, throughout the greater Lynn area, has spots of individuals ringing bells, Market Basket and other stores in the area that will be, they're always with a smile and just ringing that bell. I always say they ring the bell to bring the attention. and that's the opportunity for them to share what the Salvation Army does on the local level.
Like you said, it's very recognizable, people see it, and you've added the QR code element to it as well. So if people want to donate, but maybe they just don't have money on them or they want to do it in a different manner.
Yes, definitely. We are certainly trying to innovate, catch up with technology, and so we recognize that not a lot of people carry cash. And so we provide different opportunities, and one such as the QR code, which allows individuals to make a donation via their phones or their smart devices, and they can certainly visit our Facebook page. There's a QR code there, but every stand local has a QR code.
Oh, that's great. The convenience of it, I love that part.
Oh, yes.
So you strive to make it convenient, and I'll pivot to it was another program you mentioned right before that you got on here, you're doing for people who are slightly higher income, where like they don't qualify for some programs. Like you said, the awkward middle ground.
Yes.
But they can't cover everything themselves.
Yes. So the Salvation Army has a partnership with different energy companies in the state of Massachusetts. The program is called the Good Neighbor Energy Fund, and what this does, it provides families or individuals with a higher income with an opportunity to apply once a year and receive, this year I believe it's $400 for their energy, whether it's gas, electric. Right now we're working on the oil part, so we're trying to find a partner to partner with us. But once a year you're more than welcome to apply. You can call our office at 781-598-0673 to get more information regarding the income guidelines.
And that could be, is it huge for a family or a person? Because that might mean they don't have to pick between paying one bill versus paying the other. It can help cover them, at least in the energy aspect, which, as you said, is also going up among many things.
Yes, and definitely we recognize that there are many programs, and we do have some of our programs, seasonal programs for low-income families. But there's also, as you said, the awkward middle ground of individuals who are in the higher income but still are struggling. And so we recognize that, and this is an opportunity for them to be able to receive the assistance that they need when it comes to energy.
And you were mentioning, too, before, I said your main goal now is providing people with the basic or the essential parts, whether it's food, whether it's energy, whether it's housing. So you cover a pretty wide spectrum in terms of the help you can provide people.
Yes. And then one of our lovely programs, you see it a lot, particularly in emergency here in the city and throughout this area. It's our emergency disaster service,
yes.
Which it's my passion, honestly. I love to help our people, particularly meet them where they are, and particularly in their needs. But particularly in an emergency situation. We do a lot of local fires here. We also connect them. So part of the program is we want to not just meet you there at the scene, but follow up with you afterwards. So that means providing a clothing voucher if clothing is needed, getting you a gift card to go to the supermarket and get some, food while you establish yourself, and then do some case working and some so that by the time you are ready to move, you have some essential items ready to roll for you.
Which is a great all-encompassing service, because like you said, not just the immediate, but also nothing but as much the after effect, the having to quite literally rebuild your lives if there is a fire or something of that nature.
Yes. And we at Gracia, there's a local store here who often or not donates quite a bit of items, and we have been able to help individuals who have been victims of a fire, but also just individuals moving into a new place and so excited, but they don't have those basic items. So this is kind of coming alongside them and saying, here's the Salvation Army for you.
And you are definitely very community facing too. I mean, you see your truck at a lot of different events, whether it's tree lightings, whether it's other community events. You're around quite often, so people recognize you and get to know you a bit.
Yes, and I often say our canteen is the most wonderful billboard that we have in our community. But it also shows the community the Salvation Army is here. Just a little bit of a history. The Salvation Army was established here in Lynn in 1884. And since, the Salvation Army has met many needs from that time. And so many things that have happened in the history. And the Salvation Army has been present, particularly here in the city of Lynn, has been present offering assistance to those in need.
You have a very long, rich history right alongside the city. I know I recognize the logo immediately. So many people know it from all the different services you provide, which is a great testament to your organization. And
yes, and of course, as the holiday comes in, we're going to be out there with our hot cocoa or our hot coffee. And just want to say that Salvation Army is here for you.
And I know we've already covered a lot of bases before, but I will wrap up in a moment. But was there anything else I hadn't touched upon, any other programming or anything that you wanted to make sure people were aware of around the holidays?
So if you are in need, I just want to reiterate that if you are a parent who are in need and did not get to our sign up, call our office and just say you just want to go on the waiting list. They will take your information down. We recognize that there is a need, particularly now, and people budgets may not be able to make fit a nice Christmas, and so we want to provide with just essentials, whether it's food or Christmas toys, whatever it is that you need and we can provide, we will make sure that you are being provided for. So call our office at 781-598-0673. We do have our campaign this year for our Red Kettle campaign. It's called Give with Joy. And so as part of Giving with Joy, and as mentioned, we have made it a virtual kettle for this year. And so what this allows us to do is to fundraise and meet our goal to make sure that we continue this services throughout the year. And so our goal this year is $90,000. Our virtual Red Kettle will be open all the way to December 31st. Every donation online is a tax-deductible donation. So one way, if you feel you're always rushing and you can't get to one of our physical kettles, we encourage you to go on our Facebook page and or our website, or if you see it anywhere, the Salvation Army, just put your phone there on the QR code, and we'll lead you to a nice place, and you can make a donation there for us to continue to do the work we do.
Yeah, so you make it very simple, very easy for people. Like I said, supporting such a great organization. And I want to thank you again for coming on, speaking about all the amazing services you provide and just continue to do all year round.
Thank you so much for having me, Danny. It's always a pleasure, and it's an opportunity to tell the community the Salvation Army is here long term for you and with you.
Yes, and as you've stated, the long, rich history. And of course, if anyone is in need of any certain services or wants to have more information, be sure to check out the information on the bottom of your screen. But for now, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Galleries at Lynn Arts is inviting the community to their 2025 Holiday Market. Running from today, December 12th through the 13th, this is a two-day festive event celebrating local artists, creators, and entrepreneurs. Come browse homemade and handmade crafts, artwork, and other unique gifts for everyone on your list. The market runs from 6 to 9 p.m. on the 12th and 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the 13th. And join Councillor Obed Matul for the second annual Ward 2 holiday party from 6 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday, December 17th. Head to the cafeteria of Hood Elementary School, 24 Oakwood Ave, for free food, guest speakers, city information, and free raffles. They will once again be raffling off more than $1,000 in free gift cards. This party is hosted by Councillor Matul, but is open to all residents of Lynn. Then next Friday the 19th, the Lynn Disability Network is hosting their 2025 Sensory Christmas Party. This is an inclusive and joyful celebration designed for all children and their families. Come participate in sensory-friendly activities, holiday music, crafts, and Christmas celebrations in a calm and welcoming environment. This is a free event taking place at the Phoenix Food Hub, 8 Silsby Street, from 5 to 6 p.m. That is the final bow on this week's news. As temperatures continue to drop, find ways to stay warm and celebrate the holidays with family and friends by following @Lynn Community Television on social media. LynnTV.org is your place for all the latest press releases, government meetings, event coverage, and our extensive community calendar. For staff videos going all the way back to the beginning, check out Lynn Community Television on YouTube. I'm Danny Vittori, this is the LCTV News, and we will see you next week.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.